untitlledchapter.ca.
This is Rogers TV, Durham Region. The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Securing your recycling in a few steps is simple, like bundling your cardboard separately. These bundles can act as a lid for your blue box or placing heavier items such as magazines on top of papers with no material above the rim.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Politics. I'm Deborah Hutchison in the Rogers TV studio. Our guest this week is Durham Regional Chair John Henry, who joins us via Zoom. Welcome.
Good morning and good afternoon, and thank you, Deborah. What a great way to chat and stay safe at the same time.
Are you getting used to the Zoom meetings? We had, or you had, a marathon meeting recently that went into the long hours of the night. And here you are in front of a screen. It must have been difficult.
Well, that was a long meeting, went on for over 12 hours, and we're still able to do the business of the people. So work still needs to get done, but managing electronic meetings is difficulty. You have to be concentrating all the time, but we're still able to do that, and I'm excited. And we've had great participation. All members of council have signed in, participated through the meetings, and we're expanding the number of types of meetings that we do. Committee meetings are back. Taking place now, and we're using Zoom. We have a council meeting tomorrow. It'll all be done through Zoom, but it's what we're getting done outside of council too. So, on any given day, I'll have 3, 5, 6 meetings. It could be with the mayor of Toronto and the GTHA leaders. It could be an MP or an MPP, and we're just managing all those meetings. So we're actually getting more work done, but I'm not leaving my office.
Less travel time, right? You're losing less time in travel.
Well, you're absolutely right. The other day, for example, I sit as a director on the AMO board, and normally you would have to go into Toronto on a Thursday afternoon, do a meeting, come home, and then I would go back in Friday for half a day. We met virtually across the entire province. Just the other day, we had representatives from, all the way up as far north as Thunder Bay. None of us traveled. The meeting was quick. We were done and we finished in time. And I didn't lose that hour and a half getting back. I could go right back into my next meeting in the afternoon. So it's been very productive. Are
you hoping it will become part of the new normal?
I think doing Zoom meetings is going to change the way we do business. To go downtown for a meeting with the mayors of the Greater Toronto, Hamilton, and Durham areas, when now you can do that on Zoom and eliminate that travel time, that gives me an extra 3 hours in a day to do other things. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not the only one. It's every elected leader in the region, our MPs and our MPPs. We're doing virtual Zoom meetings. We did one last week with MP Holland, O'Connell, and Turnbull. We did it online. We're meeting with the MPs in other communities. So this has become a very excellent tool, and I'm really proud to say how quickly we here at the region and the municipalities adapted to this new way of doing business.
Well, we are now in stage 2. At this point, June 23rd, we are taping this. Durham has just started its stage 2 for the COVID-19 plan. What has changed in that time?
Well, we've gone from not being able to get haircuts to getting haircuts and patios reopening, but we still need to be deeply concerned about COVID-19. If you watch what's happening around the world and their challenges that are having in the United States with this terrible problem called COVID-19, we still need to remember that it's important to practice social distancing. It's important not to gather in large groups, to wash your hands, not touch your face, and help us wear a mask when you're out. So, in Durham, it's amazing because we were able to get to phase 2 a little bit faster than some of the communities around us because our residents understood and practiced that social distancing. People are lining up at the grocery store, they're they're doing social distancing. I'm really proud to say that you don't see a lot of families out shopping. One member of that family will go out and do the grocery shopping. So it's been a real challenge to navigate for families. I know that I'm in the same situation. I still have to line up the same as everyone else when you want to go get groceries. But it's important. We're in this together, but we don't want it coming back, and we cannot take COVID-19 for granted. It is still a very big challenge for not just Durham, but the entire world. And doing the right things will help us in the long run.
Of course, you mentioned, restaurants can now offer patio service. Toronto will soon be in its stage 2. Was there a bit of concern, though, last week when we moved into stage 2 first, that we would get people from areas like Toronto that are still in stage 1 coming and using, spending their money here?
Well, that was a big topic of conversation. And what really was important, that is, if people came to the region of Durham to do whatever they wanted to do, they still had to follow the rules: social distancing, wearing a mask, not gathering in large groups. So as I was out and about on the weekend, we noticed that you could see that people were doing all that. They were lining up outside stores and doing all of the things to keep us all safe. So we're really all in this together. And the same thing will happen when it's relaxed to stage 2 in Toronto. I'm sure that Durham residents will be in the city doing things too. But we're all part of this, and we need to play that role. And there's it's really quite simple what you need to do. Washing your hands, not shaking hands, wearing a mask, practicing social distancing are all key components everywhere in the world. It's not just a Durham issue.
It depends on which store you go to. And I was paying attention this weekend while I was out and about. As to who's wearing masks and who is not. You go into one store and it's like 70% of the people that are there are wearing masks. You go into another store and it was like 30% of people are wearing masks. Should masks be made mandatory?
Well, I wish you didn't have to do that. I think in Durham, you're right, we have a good take up on wearing masks. But I think as more and more people understand the complexities of this terrible problem, you'll just see it as a natural occurrence. People will be wearing masks. What I'm really proud of is you walk into a grocery store or a shopping center, and you go to get a shopping cart. They've got somebody there that has actually cleaned the cart. There's bottles of hand sanitizers at the door. I think that's part of the new norm. And as we continue to fight this terrible challenge collectively, things are going to change. And our economy is slowly getting back to in little bits and pieces, but it's going to take time, and it'll take a long time to recover from this. But if we do the right things, and we don't want to enter into this challenge again for a second time. They talk about a second wave happening in the fall. Doing the right things now will help prevent that, and we all can play a part in slowing down the curve.
And as this continues longer than we had hoped it would, is there not the danger, though, of people, I guess, having COVID-19 burnout and being so desperate for normalcy that they don't take those precautions?
Well, and you're absolutely right. I think what happens is you get complacent, because this isn't something that you see in front of you. It's something that is around you, and if you're not affected by it, you really aren't paying much attention to it. But you only have to look at the numbers on any given day coming from we had a great last week. We were down to very low numbers. On Saturday, they popped back up over 200. They're back down below 200 again. So it changes daily with the numbers and what's going on. But part of that too is it's the warm weather's here. People want to go down to our waterfronts and all throughout the region. We have great beaches throughout the region, but not just on Lake Ontario. But not gathering in those groups, staying your distance. Who thought you would ever go to a function and never shake somebody's hand? That's ended. So it's the simple things that are happening that will help us. And I'm incredibly proud of the team here and the work that Dr. Kyle and Dr. McTavish have done as our medical officers of health in getting the message out to our community. But we still need to get that message out there and continue to talk about it until you're almost bored of hearing it from me, the importance of social distancing.
We only got about 3 minutes to break, but I wanted to ask you, as the restaurants open up their patios, the region is making it easier for restaurants to get that approval, correct?
Oh, we're working with our lower tier municipalities to make sure that every opportunity where we can manage opening up in a safe environment for our residents, and we're working on that. I'm proud to see that the patios are starting to open up again. But I was really proud of how our restaurants adapted to online business and how you were doing curbside pickups and how that was really a big part before the patios opened of keeping some of our restaurants open and alive. So we've managed through this. And now you can start to see that with the patios open and the nice weather here again, it's not totally open for business, but we're getting there.
And the Durham Bus Fares, they are back.
They're back the 1st of July, or the 2nd of July. But we went through a time where, in order to make sure our residents and our drivers were protected, that we dropped fares. You didn't have to pay a fare to get on the bus. You boarded through the back door. We were practicing social distancing on the buses. We have now shields being installed in our buses to protect the drivers. And, for over 3 months, we didn't collect any revenue for transit. But we were able to maintain it. The service was affected a little bit. We changed some timings, but that was a really big thing. It's important. People rely on transit. Not everybody has a car, and we were happy that we could make it work and make it safe.
How much did that cost the region, though, in lost revenue?
Well, our total lost revenue is forecast to be about $40.5 million. Transit is a big part of that. We lose, I'm close probably to $2 million a month in transit. But the challenge that we're having is it's not just about today. It's what happens 3 months from today, a year from today, and how the world bounces back. So not only do we have the challenges of costs related to COVID-19 today, transit isn't going to get back to where it was in the 1st of March for maybe a year and a half. So we've got those challenges to deal with too. And Durham Region Transit's amazing. We've got an on-call system that's worked out very well in the north, and we're expanding that. So we're still managing to get people to where they need to be. And I'm happy to see the service has done a great job. Our operators, our staff, the people that clean the buses have just been simply amazing. And I really want to say thank you. And the other group of people at the region you don't see is the people that manage our water treatment and wastewater plants. So they've done an awesome job. I really want to say thank you to all the healthcare providers that work in hospitals. And, we have 8 emergency childcare centers that we operated during these times. Those folks, they went to work so that the people that looked after us could go to work. And I really want to say thank you to them as well.
And of course, the region of Durham child care centers are to reopen as well.
It's exciting news. They are. There are some rules around reopening that need to be followed, but that helps protect the people that are using the facilities. And I'm happy that we're able to do that and get them open again. They're a vital part of how our residents get childcare, and so they can go out and look after us in whatever they do in their jobs.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. We're going to go for a quick break. More of our conversation with Durham Regional Chair John Henry after this.
Securing your recycling in a few steps is simple, like crushing your cans and bottles down in your container's blue box and your box board down in your papers box. This saves a lot of space and reduces the possibility of material blowing out of your blue box on windy days.
Illness doesn't have to be a life sentence. Join me each week on Health 180 with Carrie and Fenn as we talk with doctors and other experts about how to reset your life after an illness. Learn health and wellness tips, patient stories, advice, and solutions from professionals on how to be the best you. Together we are stronger. That's Health 180 with Carrie and Fenn right here on Rogers TV.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen for Photos and Travel, where we bring the world to your doorstep. Join us on July 5th at 1 p.m. when we visit the mystical country of Sri Lanka, right here on Rogers TV.
And welcome back to Talk Politics. Our guest this week is Durham Regional Chair John Henry, who joins us via Zoom. Let's talk about the new anaerobic digestion facility that is planned for Clarington. For those that don't know what anaerobic digestion is, what is this facility designed to do, and why is it so important that we have one in Durham?
So anaerobic digestion, what it does is it takes your green bin waste, your food waste, and other waste products, and it is able to recycle it into a usable commodity, and the byproduct is renewable natural gas. So as we go down, when we talk about waste, most of us put our garbage out and our green bins out at the end of our driveways, and then you don't really think about where it goes next. So with the landfill sites in the province of Ontario, basically in 10 years, there'll be no more. And the ability to manage our green bin waste and turn it into a product that's usable, renewable natural gas, this is a conversation that is ongoing at the region. It has for a long time. It is something that we can do to help us divert more of our waste from our collection stream. And council and staff are in those discussion stages right now. We went through, it was part of that last very long council meeting. And it's about going forward and thinking about, 3, 4, 5 years from today. And for us as at the region here, we have to do that, knowing that there's an end to landfills. And Durham Region, we don't operate as a regional government landfill sites anymore. We have transfer stations. And this is an opportunity for us to do something that's very bold and in the end, good for the environment, where we get a product back in renewable natural gas.
Is this then a way of meeting our waste reduction target? Would it be possible to meet our waste reduction target without a facility like this?
It would be very difficult to do that, and we also run out of capacity at the EFW too, where it's also in Clarington. Your reach is a point. So with growth comes waste. Our residents do a good job at recycling their products on the curb, but we can do more. And it's a partnership. It's a partnership between the residents of Durham and how we collect our garbage and how we deal with it. But the challenge is, at the end of the day, there is garbage, and we need to find a way to manage that, and we need to find a way to manage our green bin as well. And this is a good project.
And so we're looking once again at Clarington, almost right adjacent to the incinerator, correct?
It is very close to the incinerator in Clarington. Some of the byproduct that would happen to get into the transfer station would go to the incinerator to be disposed of. And it's all about creating a way to manage our waste stream. It's really going to be a new way, but it's exciting because it's also thinking about the future. Durham is slated to continue to grow in size. You can see that there's lots happening. We're working on the GO Train East Extension, which will really reinvent downtown Oshawa and go into Curtis and do, build the first transit-oriented village on a greenfield on a GO line, which is really exciting, and then go all the way into Bowmanville. So as we continue to grow, and you see the great growth in Pickering around Seaton, other parts of the region, North Whitby, Ajax, in Oshawa, we need a way to find and deal with all of that waste. So this will help us do that.
Why is this location the ideal location?
Well, part of it is it's adjacent to the energy from waste facility. The region owns the property, so we don't have to go out and look for land costs. And we've gone through a fair bit of discussion here at the region and through council and committees. And they looked at the locations, but this site had a lot of things that made it very attractive for trying to do something like this. And so it's exciting. And now it's about working with Mayor Foster and his council and regional council and doing the things that we need to do the best we can to support the residents of our region.
you talk to some folks out in Clarington, and they say, you know what, we've done our part. We've got an incinerator in our backyard. Is there not another location that you could have put this facility?
It's and I understand those comments, but we have regional assets located throughout the entire region of Durham. Water pumping stations, we have sewage treatment plants, community wells, we have depots, we have transfer stations. So, when you look around the region, there's lots that goes on. The Oshawa Harbor supports businesses in the region. There's different parts of our community support different things. So I'd like to think that it's distributed throughout the region. It's just this particular site had so many synergies, it really made sense to locate there.
So the garbage that will come into this facility, will it be all Durham matter, or will it be coming from other regions like York?
No, I think you'll find that this is a Durham-owned facility. It will be Durham Waste. The Energy from Waste facility is a joint partnership.
Right.
This would be something that we're doing as a region.
Okay, let's move on to the Durham speed enforcement cameras. You've given Durham residents, a lot of notice that these were going to be installed. They are up, but we haven't gotten to the point now where fines are being handed out. We're in the what you call data collection phase. Let's talk about that.
So what we've done is the cameras are up at specific locations. They're signed in the areas they're in. And you're right, we are collecting data, but the cameras are there because the data that was out there suggested that they were areas of concern. And so the cameras are there, and it's important. If nobody was speeding, we wouldn't need the cameras. But that today you drove to work, I'm sure that you saw one or two things that might have shocked you in somebody's driving skills. I know that I see it almost every day. And this is just one more tool in the toolbox that hopefully will help us get to our Vision Zero. Reducing accidents within the region is a goal. It's a council direction. And this is part of that. And, I know that some people are angry that the cameras are up, but if you simply follow the rules, then you'll never get a ticket. And that's important to know. But they are located in areas where the data that was collected said that they were problem areas, and we need to work together to solve that. And when you can solve a problem and slow down the number of accidents, that means that your first responders aren't jeopardizing their lives to go out and help people that have been caught in a serious situation. So there is hope that it will work and lower some of the challenges we're having in specific areas in the region.
So the fines come into effect, is it in the fall, like September?
I'm not sure of the exact date the fines come into effect, but I'm sure that we'll be sending out a notice to let the residents know. But in the meantime, we are utilizing that data, and the decision to locate the cameras was based on data that was already collected from accidents.
Where do the fines come from? If I was caught speeding, would they come from the region of Durham, or do they come from Durham Regional Police, or do we get mailed? How does it work?
You'll get it mailed to your home. It'll go through, some partnerships on how it's done, but you'll get the bill will come to your home.
And what are the fines?
It depends on the speed that you're going, and they vary. And I don't have the rate sheet in front of me, but it will be enough to remind you that you shouldn't speed through that area. So,
in talking to some people, what they have said to me is if they're questioning whether somebody had told me it was like $3 for every kilometer above over. And they are saying, if you're dealing with Durham police and a police officer, the officer has discretion, and normally, you wouldn't get stopped for going, let's say, 5 kilometers an hour above the speed limit. Is this a case of every single kilometer over the speed limit, you'll automatically get that like $3 a kilometer fine mailed to you?
Well, I'm hoping that the data that we collect from these, from what we're doing right now, will help us formulate some decision making. So I can't say right now what will come from the data that we're collecting. But what I would like to say is that we have police officers out on the road every day doing traffic enforcement, and it doesn't matter how many police officers that we have out there, people still continue to do either speed. Yesterday I watched someone pull a U-turn at the driveway into regional headquarters at 605 Ralston Road. They turned at the lights and did a big loop while the lights were. And I just sat there in amazement saying, my goodness, how could somebody risk the people that were in the car to do something like that on a very busy road? So hopefully we can help get the message out that road safety is key, that Vision Zero is important, and we're really trying to protect the families of the residents that live throughout the region. So, if you don't speed, you won't have a problem. There's sign speed limits are changing on roads throughout the region. So be careful and conscious while you're driving, and we're all in this together. And if you could leave 5 minutes early instead of 5 minutes late, there wouldn't be a need to speed.
Okay, we've only got about 2 minutes left, so I want to get to our Canada Day celebration. Canada Day, the Durham way. It sure is going to be a different celebration this year, is it not?
Well, it is. So we celebrate Canada Day in a big way in Durham Region. Last year it was an amazing year. I was able to get to 13 events in 7 communities, but that's not going to happen here with social distancing. So what we've done is we've done Canada Day the Durham way. It's with Durham Tourism. It's on Facebook Live, and of course on Rogers TV from 2 to 5 on July 1st. And it's an amazing day. We're going to kick off with we got Jack DeKaiser, who's a Juno Award winner. We've got Super Dogs and 3-time Juno Award nominees. The Sultans of String will be there too. And Leah Daniels. It is going to be an amazing way, and we are going to celebrate it the Durham way. And it's throughout the entire region, and I'm excited because Canada is an amazing place. We have our challenges, but it is an amazing place to live, work, play. Raise your family, and this is how we can celebrate Canada Day in a big way. And you can show your pride by sharing your photos on hashtag Durham Strong on social media, and please post your photos and tag your municipality or at the Region of Durham on Facebook or Twitter, and have your chance for your photos to be shown during the event. So it's an exciting day. It'll be a different Canada Day, but it'll still be a great Canada Day the Durham way. And
kudos to all the municipalities and the region for coming together to make this happen.
Oh, it's a real partnership. I'm so proud of all the 8 municipalities and their teams at the region and their teams. And I really want to give a thank you to Rogers for what you're doing to help us make this an amazing July 1st.
And thank you, Regional Chair Henry, for joining us today. We are out of time, believe it or not. Our thanks once again to Durham Regional Chair John Henry, and thanks to you for joining us. Until next time, I'm Deborah Hutchison. Stay safe, everyone.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
The world's most famous Canadian, Grey Owl, just back from a triumphant British tour, is to be a reluctant guest at a gathering of First Nations.
Archie, you may not realize this, but right now you are the most famous Red Indian in the world. These are your people. You have to be there. Come on, Harold, let's go.
Sure, I'm sure. His name is Archie Bellini, and if he's a Red Indian, I'm the King of China.
It is an honor to meet the man called Grey Owl, who has brought much respect for our people.
Imposter, rascal, dreamer.